All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Social Media What this week. We are talking social media now what. My co-host, as always, Mandy Stewart.
Hello.
Hello. This is a presentation that we actually did for the Association for Challenge Course Technology 2016 International Expo. Did I say it correctly that time?
Well, there's a conference in there too.
Conference and Expo, International
There
Conference
you
and
go.
Expo. There we go. So my intention was last week, I presented this at the Chicago Area Roundtable event for Challenge Course facilitators and course managers. And my intent was to live blab it and periscope it. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi did not allow it, so we just bumped
Things went awry. Things went awry.
You know, at least it didn't go awry. It just didn't work. Awry is when it starts working, and then in the middle of it, it just goes to hell.
But going awry sounds way more fun.
Oh yeah, it went awry.
It didn't work. It didn't work.
It went awry.
It went awry.
It went a wheat. It went a white. It went whole grain, and it went Hawaiian bread. All right, there we go.
Nice.
Thank you. Had to put all the.
Well done. Well done.
All right. So basically, what we're doing today is you will not see what I have up here is a link to the Prezi if you're watching on the replay. But if you go to actually the easiest way of getting it there is props over to Experiential Systems, because I was able to embed it on their website. If you just go to the news section at experientialsystems.com, you can see the Prezi. And if you go over to experientialed.com for this replay, I will make sure that any links, additional links we do today specifically, are added to the blog post once it's up there. So here we go. What are we talking about? Awareness of your unknown presence in social media. Yeah, so start with that one really quickly. I've talked to a couple people at the roundtable event last week that didn't think that they wanted to attend this session because they said, well, we're not on social media yet. We haven't officially set up a Facebook page. We're not on Twitter. We're not on Instagram. So we'll come.
Oh, yes, you are.
Yes, you are. For those, and I posted this also on Summer Camp Pros today. And I know that there's a lot of policy out there for screens and saying that the campers aren't allowed to have their screens. Well, that might cut down a little bit on it, but my guess is you are still having family members come out and pick your kids up. I'm guessing that you may even have open family days where other family members are allowed to come into the camp and see your challenge course or your aquatics program. So quick disclaimer.
You might even have staff members who don't follow all of the rules. Oh my gosh.
That never happens.
Yeah. And, you know, if they don't follow the rules with the screens, is it possible they might not follow some other rules like course usage? Who knows? Yeah.
So that's what we mean by your unknown presence. Is just because you're not officially posting online doesn't mean that someone else isn't and tagging you or associating your camp with that post. Second thing is using social media to identify growth areas for staff. For example, and this is what I'm digging. I'm so happy that Prezi works in Blab. This picture that I'm showing on the first. I'm getting some echo, nasty echo. You getting any echo?
It's not me. It's not me this time.
I'm going to mute you for just a second and see if I still hear it. All right. Yeah, it's coming through on your side for me. Do you mind doing a quick refresh for me? I know it's a pain.
I guess.
I won't talk about anything really cool while you're gone.
Okay.
All right. So anyways, this picture... when she leaves, it leaves the Prezi. That is awesome. That's wonderful. So we aren't going to talk about anything until she is gone and gets back in here. But anyways, that picture I was starting to show shows a kid that's upside down in a harness. And I know that when you jumped out, it actually kicked the Prezi out. So good to know. But at least I'm not getting the echo anymore. So the picture
I was wondering where the Prezi went.
Yeah, I think what it does is it tries to bounce up into the so anyways, people on the replay don't need to hear about this, and Bob is just thrilled about us talking about Prezi along with the other two people watching.
Bob loves Prezi. I happen to know that Bob is a huge Prezi fan. He does amazing things with presentations on Prezi.
Are you serious?
No, not at all.
Okay. Anyways, moving on. So, for example, there's that picture that was there, and we'll see if the Prezi reloads or not. And if it doesn't, not the end of the world. Where somebody is inverted in a what appears to be a head wall sit harness. We don't know if that's actually head wall, but I don't see anything that insinuates that
manufacturer isn't super important. It's a seat harness.
It is a seat harness. And as far as I'm aware of, there is no manufacturer on the market right now that says you can invert in a sit harness. That is not what they're designed to do. But with that being said, Prezi's doing some weird things. Oh, there it is. Great. It's finally loading up now. But that being said, this is what we mean by if I saw that and that was my program, or if that's a place I've done a training and I see that online, you better believe I have some feedback for my staff or the people that went through my training, because that goes against what I train my staff to do. And then finally, constructively evaluating your program through the client lens. Very curious, and I was hoping some people maybe from Challenge Course Pros would not Challenge Course, Summer Camp Pros would be joining us, because I tried to put a little disclaimer under the picture I used. Some of you might have seen it, where it's an inverted giant swing in a sit harness. Because I think that one of the things that we talked about at ACCT is that a client might see this and think that's the coolest thing and want to come out and do it, but we're going to have to tell them, no, you can't do that. And so another way of looking at this is, how does the client see some of this stuff?
And that's
through their lens.
And I've been in that position before too, as a program operator, where something has been done in the past, people know about it, people have seen it. And even if that's not what you're doing right now, the expectation is still there. And then you have to explain to people, no, this isn't okay. And then the next question out of their mouth is, well, why was it okay last time or last year? And it's really hard to tell them, well, it never was. So that's a fun conversation.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted so Bob and those online can see the picture I was talking about really quickly there. Okay. All right. So also traditionally on Blab, you give us props when you like what we're talking about. So what I'm going to suggest is, if you have some frustration with what you see and you don't want to type that, you can give us props for that. We'll understand that you're not saying that you like seeing somebody upside down in a harness. We understand it's just feedback to let us know that you see what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing is, we're going to get into one of the things that we encourage those of you out there. Cool. I see. So here's the deal. Thank you, Bob, for checking in. You didn't hear us talking about you earlier. That's fine. I do that all the time. I get to a Blab and then have to listen or do something else. So, yep. And any questions, comments, or thoughts, just jump on in, Bob. All right. So the first thing that we're asking is, with critical eye with this, is that we are going to, just do the reports and listen in and jump in when there's something you want to comment on. Appreciate you being here, Bob. Is that we're going to be asking, as more people join us, we might be asking people to share what they find online, or what you see online, for those of you that are watching online and not in Blab. And this is a critical eye for yourself. We are probably, my guess is, we're going to do what we've done each time we've done this presentation, which is we're going to show you videos we found randomly. And this is not to throw any individual program under the bus. This is for us to say, if this was our program, how would we interpret what we're seeing? What would be some of our feedback we have, both good and bad? And so that's part of developing that critical eye, is looking at it objectively. Yes, we're going to look at it and go, holy crap, sometimes. And also we're going to look at things and we're going to say, oh my God, holy crap, that is awesome. My staff rocks. They handled that situation perfectly. And that's also using it as a feedback tool to be able to go back to our staff and say, kudos. That's awesome. I bet you didn't even know you were being filmed at this point. You handled this perfectly. You handled it well within our SOPs. Okay, standard operating procedure.
Or it doesn't even have to be like an incident to be handled. It could just be video of them doing their job just as they're supposed to do it, and just a continuous, wonderful way. Just being consistent and delivering an excellent experience too.
And knowing that we're both facilitators at heart, this is something that going to encourage both of us to jump in. I saw both of us were on a webinar yesterday from a company that does automated photography on.
Oh, you could say head wall harness, but you can't say PhotoFlow. Hey.
All right. So yeah, PhotoFlow had a nice. I don't know.
Yeah, you can say PhotoFlow.
Right,
Haley, you know Haley that shows up to a lot of our blabs.
Yeah.
She works for PhotoFlow.
Oh, I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Haley's awesome.
Haley.
Yeah.
I just threw my pen out of my hand out of frustration and picked up a different pen that randomly was on the floor. Anyways, moving on. So PhotoFlow, I did not know that. And also I've been seeing Haley, a side note, I've been seeing Haley in other blabs.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I'm glad that she is part of the community out here. So, and that's another thing. Welcome to anybody else that's on Blab. Don't go running away screaming because you hear us talking about challenge courses. This is in-depth stuff that I think that works for any social media. You're going to hear us talking about your camp, your tour, your all this. Put in your business, especially if you have a business that you are encouraging people to share your hashtags or do other things with. Yeah, your presence is out there. It's going to be a little bit easier in an outdoor setting. But if you are a brick and mortar store, if you offer a service, you are still out there. And these tools and tricks are going to work for you also to find your business out there, for better or worse. All right, moving on here. Okay, so where do we find ourselves? Okay, so YouTube is going to be the first place that we're going to suggest searching for yourself.
So really quickly before you get too far forward, am I supposed to be seeing anything other than the initial Prezi screen?
No, not yet.
Okay, just checking.
What I can try and do here, and I don't know if this will work. I'm gonna throw that in there.
Oh, YouTube.
See,
second largest search engine, by the way, YouTube.
Right. And I'm going to put that comment in the link. So if you're watching this, if you head on over to, if you're on the web and you're watching this and not interacting on or the replay, head over to experientialed.com/blog. You'll see this replay. And as I type things in the comments, they will be clickable links underneath the replay. Even though you don't see the fancy YouTube right now, you can click and I'll keep on putting links up as we go. So the first one we want to talk about is YouTube. For those of us watching live, if you click on YouTube, you'll leave the blab. You'll hear us still talking, but you'll go over to YouTube. And I welcome people to go and search. I think since we don't have that interactive, unless, Bob, you want to do some searching, but I know you're also working, we're just going to kind of talk about these places rather than encouraging people to search right now. And also this will keep it to an hour rather than an hour and a half presentation. Here's what you're going to find on YouTube. And this is what we've found so far. If you search your facility flat out and you have a small facility, you may not find a lot. So here are my tips. And Mandy, I'm going to ask for your tips also, is changing your search from your course name or your product to your product and the town where your product or service is based out of or it works out of. So for example, the other day I was working with Frank Palmisano and he couldn't find anything at first. I think Lincoln Marsh in the Chicago area is a local ropes course attached to a park district. When he searched, well, there also happens to be a Lincoln Marsh in New York City that also is an outdoor environmental center. When he then changed his search to Lincoln Marsh, Wheaton, Illinois, he then started getting some things. When he changed his searching on YouTube to challenge course Wheaton, Illinois, he got even more things. So sometimes you need to be a little creative with these. And again, always start with the name of your course, the name of the product, the service, and do a flat out search for that. If you're not finding it, then you need to get vague. It's kind of like we've all learned when we're searching for pizza on Google, that if we search for, pizza Chicago, we're going to get a lot of things. We start searching best pizza place Chicago North Side and a zip code, we then are going to get more things. So again,
You're making me hungry.
That's why I eat before the blab. I'm sorry.
I did.
It's an hour before your lunch. Didn't you eat breakfast? It's an hour before lunch.
I did. I'm still hungry. Yeah. So a combination definitely of your business name or your company name, organization name, whatever, your location, and the product, like those three things, just mixing those up to do all of your searches. That's the way to do it. But definitely those three categories, having fun with those.
And I just added those to the show notes, so to speak there. Now, moving on, the same thing is, so the great thing, here's why you want to search YouTube. Number one, it's much more, you're going to get more, you're going to get more feedback through a video. And we'll show some examples in a little bit here. If you take a snapshot picture, you only have a split moment in time. When I Google anything, I always get exactly what I asked for. It helps to be as specific as possible. Lots of words is okay. Definitely, Bob. And again, it really depends on what you're searching for. And again, the more specific, but you got to think also of, we're talking about, so let's say it's for a summer camp, right? How would a summer camp camper or visitor to this program, how would a visitor to your program label this video on YouTube? And what they're probably going to do is something like, if you search on YouTube, fun day at Zipline, you're going to get hundreds and hundreds of things back. So the thing that, if by adding a location to, is number one, hopefully whoever watched it did add the location. The other thing is, like I was looking at my phone today, is that I have geotagging turned on to all of my photos, which means it's added to my videos. So on my Android, whenever, and I think iPhone does it too, whenever we upload those videos, that might be back there also. So then getting more specific to say the location is definitely going to help out also. But definitely good point, Bob.
Well, some of the people, because a lot of this content, like you said, is user posted content. So if they might call it something different than you call it as well. Like, for example, when I was with Northwest Team Building and we were operating the Bellevue Challenge course, if I'm searching Bellevue Challenge course, I'm going to get some. I'm also going to get some if I do Bellevue Ropes course. Even though we don't call it that, I wouldn't typically look for that. But just thinking about those words and the selection of them that might be in use, and sort of casting a broad net and seeing what's out there, and then going toward the trend of what people are actually assigning to you as your name too.
All right. I was going to do something that's going to take too much time. I encourage you to do that as an experiment on your own. Put the name of your camp in, and then put also the specifics in. I mean, part of it is just playing around with it. All right. Next tool to talk about is images.google.com.
Yay. I love Google Images.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize, oops, forgot to copy and paste that. So I'm going to throw that in here. Images.google.com. What a lot of people don't realize is that you can search different aspects of Google. So images, I know when we do a search, it brings up images at the top, but you can just go to images.google.com. You don't have to worry about searching anything else. You can just jump right in there. All of the images that were part of that Prezi I was showing earlier came from that. So what I'm going to try right now is I'm just going to see if I can type in here Zipline Summer Camp. Really vague.
I want to type in Zipline Summer Camp too.
Okay. Yeah. And here's what I don't want to do, because I'm seeing that in order to put these in as a picture, it's going to drag the website they're from over. So I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. But again, just doing that, it's a very interesting, to our industry alone, it's a very interesting picture that it paints.
It looks like fun.
It does look like fun.
It also looks like a lot of people don't know how to fit helmets.
You see that one too. Where is it? The kid waving?
There's a few of them. One? Yeah, okay, but I see
Yeah. The kid doing this?
Hold on. I'm looking at the images. I'm not looking at you. Doing what? Oh, yeah.
With the helmet on?
Yeah.
Kind of on the side of his head?
Yep, there's that one.
Yeah, I really wish, let's see, if I view image, yeah, I don't want to, and again, it's not to bust anyone out here. I don't think I'm going to do a copy image, paste image.
Bottom line is, right now we're looking at this and automatically making judgments here. It's like, okay, yes,
because we're judging.
No no doubt this is fun. It looks wonderful and terrific to the casual user, but then when you just look a little bit more, you start seeing these things that, I mean, Ed and I are both trainers, so things jump out at us, and you start spotting this trend. And like the first trend that's really obvious to me is people don't know how to fit helmets well. Fortunately, the trend is not people are zipping upside down in seat harnesses all over the place. So,
yeah, today I'm not getting any of those as I'm flipping through here. Anyways, but it's not about us checking the industry. It's about put in the name of your camp. So I'm not going to show anybody, but I'm going to put in camp that I do some training at.
Ooh, I'm going to do that too.
Okay. And one of the things is, let's see. Oh, I forgot to put in, I put in the name of their camp, but it gives me a lot of general stuff. So I'm going to put in, because they have a zip line. And so if I put in camp blah, 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 zip line.
Blah, blah, blah.
Not getting a lot. So this is where I'm going to have to, because they have a relatively new zip line. So I'm getting, and they also have the name of a camp that is kind of, I don't want to say generic, but my guess is that this is a name that would be used at other places. So I'm getting more specific, and now I'm going to put in the state that it's located in. Okay. And very interesting, I'm getting camps that are, okay, so I just got a YouTube video. So it's the headline image of, it's the headline image from a YouTube video. So when I click on this, it's going to send me, and I go over to visit page, it's going to take me to the YouTube video. Let's see if I can do the YouTube.
Play the video.
I'm looking. What I'm doing very quickly here. So this is where I'm going to pause the recording for the moment, because here's the deal. It's going to be boring for anybody watching the replay. They do get to see our reaction, so I'm going to leave it going. So, all right.
You're assuming there's going to be a reaction. That's great.
There's 20 seconds. There's a reaction from me. I'm just doing 20 seconds because I want to make sure that they don't burst out the name of the camp. Okay, they did not name the camp here. I don't know the name of the individual sharing this.
I'm intrigued, sir.
And I'm intrigued to see if you see the same thing I do.
Bye, Mr. Bobs.
All right. Okay. Enjoy. All right. So here's the new feature. Important. Yes, they are.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
All right. Tell me to pause it when you see something.
Oh.
Ooh, watching it bigger. They're on the fence. Oh, no, I'm upset. I'm upset.
Well, there are a few things I could say.
Now, yes, and I'm not going to say what camp it is or anything like that. And I am going to, since I don't see any, I'm going to look again to see if there's any identifying. There is identifying information, so I'm not going to post the link in YouTube here because there is identifying information in the YouTube underneath the YouTube video. So let's give this a try. So so what we basically did is that is something that when I looked on YouTube, I may not have found. Looking through images, it brought me, because Google owns YouTube, so that it brought it up in images. Okay, it took a little bit of searching, but I did find it. And here's the third thing that we talked about last week when we talked about that training, Prezi, is that I know as a PVM, a professional vendor member, that we do inspections for ACCT, that ESI sent a letter out to all of its clients saying that we are going to be reviewing videos and media online because there have been a lot of incidents in our field this past year. And if we see something, you are going to get a letter from us. And so as soon as this blab is over, I have to write a letter now because I found this as a trainer. This is one of the places that I've trained at, and they're doing things not necessarily in line with the training. Now, I'm going to write it from a step down because that's what it appears to be, right? Mm-hmm. I have to look at it, and this is what we're going to do as course managers, or if we see something with our own product. I'm owning this product as a moment, so I need to go and ask some questions and say, here's the link to the video I saw. Here are some things that are going on in it, and this is what it appears to be.
Could you comment?
What are we doing?
Could you please comment on this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And here is what, and I'll go ahead and list according to the training, according to the manual on page, blah, blah, blah. This is what we talked about at training. So what did you see? So I can add it to my notes.
Well, I saw a staff member working without a helmet.
There goes some props. Again, I'm not encouraging staff members not to have helmets. I'm giving Mandy props for noticing that.
Well, everything according to your own policies and procedures. I'm not sure what the envelope is for the ladder. I would have to rewatch that and know, just get a little bit more visuals on that. I'm not a fan of the second little one running right through the zip corridor before that rider has completed their zip.
Full zip.
Yep, because they're going to roll back because it's a gravity break and they could potentially impact that person on the ground. What else? You go.
Well, the ladder is the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not the main thing. The ladder and the helmet. The helmet was the first thing that jumped out at me. And then another potential part of feedback, because I'm not going to say I don't recognize the person. I'm going to say the video is not clear enough for me to see the face of the staff member. Is I might also add to, questions I'd be asking of my staff is, was the person in the video part of the training?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not, again, none of this is because I can't make that out in the video. I can't say, I was at that training. I know everybody that was there.
I would be able to. Are you kidding me?
Anyways, the other thing too is that looking at YouTube right now in my other window that's open this is 2014.
Yeah.
So training has happened out there since this. That ladder has been a bane of existence in a conversation I've had with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that ladder has disappeared since the last time I did a training. So that is also why I will take a one-down approach with some of this stuff, because some of these things were issues in the past that have, as far as I know, have been taken care of. But it doesn't change the fact that it's out there on YouTube and we don't own it, and it's not like it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So those are just a few different things of how we might look at
this. And the thing that I think it's important to point out too, because I think we've alluded to it, but we're also coming from a similar standpoint as far as you and I working for PBMs. From the operator standpoint, just because you ask a PBM to work with you does not mean that they have to. It's really and truly, and it's something to think about. And I'm not saying that in a threatening way. I'm saying that in an informative way, because if you see things or know that things are happening that you are uncomfortable with and you need leverage, then the potential to not be able to have a vendor that will work with you because of the things that are happening is an argument that you can use to help get the training that you need, to help make the changes that you need to. Because if, as PBMs, we see things happening out on YouTube, if we see your banner on your website has everybody hanging upside down in their seat harnesses and stuff, we can say, okay, we gave you this warning, we gave you this chance, we tried to help, and it's not responsive, so we're out. Because long story short, once something happens, we're pulled into the courtroom too, or we're pulled into the deposition, or at least pulled into the legal fees.
Now, we're actually skipping around a little bit, which I'm perfectly fine with, because this is the part of the third thing that we mentioned at the beginning. So part of it is looking through different lenses.
Yeah.
So the lens that we're talking about right now is through a PVM. Now, for those of you that aren't in the industry, what we're basically looking at is through the lens of the manufacturer, installer, trainer. You could pick any one of those that makes sense. So if you're looking at this Blab, and I know a lot of us are on Blab from a social media point of view, that you are the person that sold a product to somebody and now you see them using it against what the original agreement was, that's where this lens that we're talking about is. Okay. If you are the end user of a product and you see this and somebody else manufactured for it, again, that's the lens you want to look through, because you're the one selling this product. Okay. And then again, back to the specifics that we're talking about, if I'm a camp manager or a challenge course manager and I see something like this going on, that's one of the questions I should ask. The people that came out, I hired to do the training. Am I going to get a letter from these people if they see this video online? So that's what we talk about, the different lenses. And now let's go to the next step. I'm a potential client. Now I'm going to go with client on this. In this case, the potential client is not the kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
The potential client of a summer camp is the one that signs the check. So it's a parent.
Mm-hmm.
If a parent sees this video, what are some of the things that they might think? Well, number one, I highly doubt that they're even going to blink twice about that staff member on the ground. Wait a minute. I muted you and I can hear you.
I don't know.
That's weird.
I
just realized I was getting feedback through you, so I muted you, but I can still hear it, which works fine for me.
I'm sorry.
No, that's just a blab techie thing. I'm going to unmute you just in case, so I make sure that you're recorded. But that was weird.
Huh.
Anyways, yeah, because I was getting echo earlier. Anyways, so looking at this through the lens of the client, the parent may think that this is cool. Mm-hmm. They saw a kid go down. They see another kid. Oh, look, it's teamwork because another kid is helping out with these things. So from that point of view, there might not be any red flags going off, or like you said at the beginning, that we need to redo. So now let's jump over where we can really have fun with this. Let me find.
This isn't fun. I think this is fun.
Oh well, but I realize that I'm trying to respect people that they did not ask to they didn't ask to have their video looked at. So I'm tap dancing around it a little bit. I'm going to go to a video where I have permission to show this.
Permission?
Yeah, unless you're revoking it.
Oh, is it my video? Yeah.
So here is another place that we said that we can look is on Facebook.
Yes.
So here is a video. It doesn't blow it up as nicely as YouTube, but
that's okay. You'll still be able to see it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so just to give a little background, this is a video from my previous employer and a great zip tour that we operated on behalf of a municipality. And it's a purely accidental thing that sometimes can happen. And everybody is okay. And you'll see everybody's actually really okay. They're too okay almost. And it's pretty funny.
Yeah, so I was typing in the quote. So the one thing I didn't hear you say is actually describing what happened in the video.
Oh, well, I thought we were going to watch the video.
Oh, I had it. You didn't see it?
No.
I had it playing while you were talking.
Oh, I wouldn't have been talking if I would have seen it playing.
So you don't see it in a square at the moment?
No, I see the frame, just the index frame.
Okay, let me.
I did not see it play. So
it's not playing right now for you. All right.
But that's okay because the people that are watching the replay won't be able to see it anyway, yeah? So let's go ahead and describe it. So I put
the link in the comments there so you can actually go to the page and see it.
Yeah, so
go ahead and describe it.
And I feel like I have to sneeze, so fair warning.
Okay. Wow, she sneezed so hard she blew off. Wow, that was some sneeze, Mandy. Okay. All right, come on back. What you're going to see in this video is basically, and I'll let Mandy tell the introduction to it, but the actual mechanics of it is this person goes off a short zip line run. She has her hands behind her back, holding onto the back loop on her harness, and as soon as she steps off the platform, she inverts, goes, and then reverts. So it looked like a weeble wobble, right? Upside down and right back up. So that's what you actually see in it.
I'm getting kicked out now?
Sneeze. No, that you sneeze. I have to sneeze and you went boom. Away you went.
It's amazing. So did you get through describing the whole video?
I just said she went upside down. If you want to describe the before she goes upside down.
Yeah, so she's on the platform. It's the last line of the zip tour, which, as we know, as people in the industry, is the line where people tend to do goofy stuff with or without permission, depending on what's okay at the facility. And in this case, this woman was going to go off the zip platform no-handed, so she wasn't going to be holding onto her lanyard, and she was going to have her, or she did have her hands behind her back. Now, in her case, what this meant, and this is like in a lot of people's cases, but just the way that the physics of it works is when she went off of the platform, her the top end of her body, especially because she was leaning back with her arms behind her back, went back, and she completely inverted. Her legs like went whoo, like on her lanyard was between her legs, and then she flipped completely back upright, fortunately, before she would have potentially impacted the landing platform. It's a short little zip, so it really happens quickly. So I would say follow the link in the notes, and so you can see what I'm talking about. So she goes off, she goes completely inverted, flips right back over, and then lands on the landing platform. Now, everybody in this video is cracking up. She's cracking up. The people that are on the tour with her are cracking up. The guides are, I mean, nobody is upset by the fact that this happened. So let me say that. Nobody was like, oh my God, or I was terrified or anything. It was, for them, a very joyful event. So joyful, in fact. So joyful, in fact, that the guides said, oh, you should post that video. And yeah, so she did. She posted that video, and then it was out there for the world to see, something happening which isn't supposed to happen on these sorts of things. Although we do know that sometimes they do, and that's a risk that we take by participating in these activities. So then we had to make the decision, what do we do with this video of something that we don't necessarily want to have out there?
Now, before I was just going to ask you to talk about that. So before mentioning what to do with the video, we were showing this off of Facebook. Was this the only place the video existed?
The video also existed on YouTube. And we have the ability, she posted it to the tour's Facebook page, and she also posted it on YouTube. So we have the ability within our own Facebook pages that we all manage as administrators to say, okay, you know, this is out. I don't want this associated with my page. We don't have that same ability on YouTube, although we can potentially comment, we can ask, we can request, but we ultimately don't have control. Not only that, but she was really happy about this. She thought it was like one of the best things ever. And so to try and also respect the fact that, you know, I didn't want to insult her and make her feel bad about what happened, because she was totally okay with that too. So we ended up leaving it up on our Facebook page and addressing it honestly, what happened. And I do not even have those comments up, but I could look them.
I have it right here.
Oh, you want to read it?
Yep, this was the response Mandy gave as Bellevue Challenges course and Zip Tour. You're right, Sherry. Oh, well, and first of all, Sherry commented, she posted the video, and she commented what not to do.
Yes, that was how she titled that video.
Yeah. And this was the response. You're right, Sherry. We definitely like to see all of our zippers right side up. We run the risk of the unexpected happening in the adventure industry, but thanks to great guides who had your safety gear well fit, all's well that ends well. But next time, let's keep hands in front and head above the heart, shall we? Thanks for being a great participant. Smiley face emoji. Right? Because that is one of the most common questions that gets asked in these situations is, how do I respond to the media that I see? And I think that this is a great example of you looked and you saw that this video was not going away, right? If this was the only place, you could just delete it, be done. And that could be one way of doing it. But even if it could, I think that even if it wasn't out on YouTube, I think this is a great response. Yeah. You know, from a customer service on social media point of view of saying, you know, acknowledging what's going on here and saying, this is what we're doing, rather than just leaving it sit there or potentially disenfranchising a previous customer and a potential repeat customer by just deleting it. Like, what the hell? I posted this. Don't they, you know, because she was laughing and and again, we don't know, there's no inflection in what not to do. Right. Yeah. But looking at the video and that she had a great time. Yes. Why would you want to do anything to take that away from her, but still acknowledge that, no, this is not the way that, you know, this was not the intention.
Yeah. And again, honoring that client too, that customer, and acknowledging just the reality of the situation is, hey, this is the thing that it is. Honesty is good stuff. I'm trying to see if I can use that other open seat to drop in a link to something. I don't know how long this takes, because this is another good example of how you respond to things will dictate how people view the entire situation as a whole after the fact. Because we tend to live in the moment on social media, especially for social media managers. But the reality of it is, all of this stuff is just being compiled. And when somebody searches for you, they're not just seeing the latest, greatest thing that you posted. They're going to see your whole everything, and they're going to make a judgment based on that. And so even if there are some negative things, there's some less than ideal things, for them to be able to see how you responded to it. And did you do it with courtesy? Did you do it with compassion? Did you do it with professionalism? All of those things is huge. And humor. Humor is good too, which is where I wanted to, here, I'll just post it. I'll post it here too, just in the links. It's a link to a story. It's about the Reese's peanut butter trees. It has nothing to do with Challenge Course, Zip Lines, and Aerial Adventure. So there was this whole thing this past December about these Reese's peanut butter trees. And essentially, a lot of these pictures that people were posting on Twitter and all over the place, it has the Reese's package, and then it has the little peanut butter tree outside of the package. And it looks absolutely nothing like an evergreen tree. It looks like an oval blob. And some of them have a little stump at the bottom that is sort of indicating a trunk. And people are posting things like, does this look like a Christmas tree to you? And I feel deceived. And, oh, sure, it's a tree, right? And so
here's how I would do this, dead Reese's tree, in quotes. Too long to do a joke, Ed. The payoff's not going to be worth it, but still, I've committed to the bit now.
Okay. There's the thing. Okay. It just, the tree thing just popped up on my square. Do you see it now? Okay. So we can see the.
Did you see the comment I made?
No.
Just in the comments? Did you get the reference?
No. I'm just I was looking, and Red Cess Tree?
There's a certain superhero movie out, and that was that actually was part of their campaign, was dead, the poo emoji, and L.
Gotcha.
So I was trying to be subtle of what it looked like.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Ryan Reynolds would have found it.
It says Red Cess Tree, not Reese's Tree.
What?
You didn't spell it right, Ed. That's why I was like, I don't even know what this means. But anyway, back to the Reese's tree. So Reese's got this whole just giant onslaught of people who just said, this is a horrible product, Reese's, you suck. And let me see if I can post their response to it, because it was one of the most brilliant responses I think that they could have done, especially given what's going on in the world today.
Oh, you did that's perfect. How did you do that?
Perfectly.
Yeah, thank you. You're going to have to tell me what link you used to get that there.
Yeah, so this is Reese's response to all of that. All trees are beautiful. And with all of the body awareness and all sizes are beautiful and stuff, this was a brilliant response in a way where after this whole onslaught of negative social media, they could just wipe it away and say, hey, this is our tree. We have a sense of humor. We're responding to this in a way that we feel is appropriate to the situation. And I loved it. Just love it.
Can you throw that link in the...
Yeah. And it's at the bottom of the article, but that's the link to the actual tweet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. All right. In true social media marketers never sleep, I got a notification that somebody commented on our Facebook page. So, okay. I should pause it.
What?
I have a question for you afterwards. It's off topic, But I would like to, we're going to stay focused on this because we really only have about 10 more minutes on this, and I want to talk about the tool. And then I want your suggestion on, this is a great example of, and I'll leave the blab open. I'm just going to stop the recording.
Okay, we'll pause.
All right, moving on.
Parking lot.
So next link I'm putting in here is that if you would like to look at some various courses that we've used in our presentation on some things to generate discussion on feedback and try and look with a critical eye, there's the link to it. It's a private YouTube playlist. I've removed all the identifying information of the courses from it, but it's a good one to look at. And also I would use it potentially as a tool with my staff to take a look at and get their feedback on what do they see. Use it as a teaching tool.
Okay. So
all right.
I have a question. Speaking of critical eye, do we have because I think that that part's important too. I'm pretty sure we had something within the Prezi or somewhere about how does, a breakdown of how to look at these different things.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because now what I'm going to throw in the link here.
Are we using our critical eyes now?
Yes.
Okay. I have a prop.
You have a prop.
Yes.
Nice.
Critical eyes.
All right. So I put a link in the chat and on the screen right now. That is the link to follow over to where I have the worksheet that you made online. So that gets you to the article that looks cooler. What I'm going to do is actually try and put the link, drop the link in to the actual, nope, that's somebody's photo album that's in the post from the roundtable event.
Yay.
Cool pictures by John. Go ahead and check it out. Search tool. All right, there we go. Let me put this in and see if it actually brings the search tool up as a PDF. That would be really cool.
Hey.
Nice.
That's nice.
That's really nice. Wow.
Your face is one of wonder and amazement, Ed.
I like it when technology works. Unfortunately, it's not the easiest thing to read, but still you can see it. I changed the top to be a little bit more generic for our presentation today because it had the other side. Now I forgot to remove roundtable. Anyways, so on this, if you click through this document, you're first of all going to see some of the places we talked about, searching some other places, some questions, and then evaluation action steps. So with this in mind, I'm looking at the larger version on my computer right now because I can't read that.
You want my glasses?
So yeah, can you hand those? That would have been so cool if I had the same exact glasses so you could hand them to me.
That would be, we need to plan fun things like that better.
Do I have? No, I got nothing. I thought maybe I'd have a magnifying glass I could use.
Sunglasses. Anyway.
All right. So I don't know. So we've got about 10 minutes here. Which side do we want to focus on? The guiding questions and tips, or do we want to look at the evaluation and action steps?
I think that we could just I can run through this really quickly and we can do both.
Okay.
So the guiding questions and tips, like the first thing is number one, and this speaks to the whole rest of it. Remember that it should be a deliberate process. It shouldn't be a gut judgment or reaction to something. It should be, okay, step back, let's look at this and break this down, which is what the whole rest of this document is about. Making it a process that you can repeat to be able to do a good job evaluating your social media. And then there's stuff like, are the policies and procedures being followed? Are the staff members operating according to their training? Does this support your mission statement? How is this going to make your participant or your client feel? And if they saw this one thing, would it look good to them? Would that be something that you would want to have out there about your course if this is all anybody knew about that? And then for us too, this is sort of that gut check kind of moment too. If another professional within your industry saw this, what would they think about it too? Because we talked about it before. Sometimes clients don't know what they don't know, but other course professionals should. And so the second part of that is the evaluation and the action steps, which pretty much are just questions and a step-by-step process to go through looking at that in that way with those questions in mind.
Yeah. And, one of the things that I go back to also is while you were talking about this, thinking about the videos we saw, the videos we've seen, and that is that one of the things that I found it when I was a course manager at a course in Chicago is it wasn't always practical for me to be able to get out there and watch my staff on a daily basis. Yeah. Again, we're all busy as managers and doing things. So what this allows for is, even as just a course manager, this wonderful tool that you can get this feedback and see what's going on without, and again, it's not the end all be all. This is a snapshot of stuff going on in your program. And this is a place where conversations can start. And again, if you see something that is that, I mean, I love going through this, from your point of view, Mandy, with the video that we watched earlier, when it asks the question, how big of a deal is this that somebody went down? It may not, again, it wasn't something that was planned for. It wasn't something that was talked about in the past, but now that we're aware of it, this is a huge deal. The people need to be, who's out on the course right now? Do I need to run out and tell them, hey, by the way, don't do this? And then, so again, nobody was injured or anything like that, but it becomes this wonderful tool to be able to follow up on. Right. And again, I'm even looking at this with that, I just was surprised that the camp I was talking about earlier just saw something. So this is something that I can use to help draft my document and take a look at this to see, all right, is this what needs to be in the letter? What's going on with this? Why is this a red flag to me? For example, one of the things that it helps me look at is, all right, no helmet at the ladder. Well, according to ACA, you need to have a helmet on. And I know that this camp is looking for ACA accreditation. So that's something I need to hand in. If this was a private camp that didn't have it, I might be saying, at the training, we talk about this as a best practice, but it's just mentioned versus, hey, I know that you are looking for ACC or ACA accreditation. And this video is against one of their points, and I'm drawing a blank.
Your brain just went bloop. But the other thing too is everybody is pretty much in agreement here that whatever the policies and procedures are for any particular facility, that is what you need to be following. Whatever is documented, whatever is on paper, whatever your organization as an operator says, okay, this is how we do it, that's what needs to be happening. So if that manual says that the staff at the receiving end of the zip line need to be in a helmet, then guess what? Until and unless you change those policies and procedures and do it through an appropriate process and get approval from everybody that you should be consulting with, then that staff member needs to be wearing a helmet regardless of ACA, regardless of anything else. Because if you have an accident and you need to answer questions and you are saying, and you're saying, hey, our procedures say, they're going to be the ones that are saying, your procedures say that your staff need to be doing this. And you're going to have to answer why not. And you can't say, I didn't know, very easily if there's social media out there that repeatedly shows this happening at your facility. So that's, aside from just getting ACA accreditation or whatever else, the nuts and bolts of it is whatever's happening in those videos, in those pictures, they need to match your policies and procedures. And if they don't, that's just your starting point. You need to make them match whether it's adjusting what's happening or adjusting your policies and procedures. And from there, it's client experience, mission, all of those different things.
All right. So with that in mind, we're going to start wrapping up. If nobody has any questions here in the next minute or two, we are going to, my goal is for this to be a consistent blab, 12:30 p.m. Every Wednesday. If you are, and I'm going to say this on the record this week, if we have a Facebook group, I'd like to see more people joining that and being able to ask questions throughout the week. If you would like to join our Facebook group, it is a private group. The only way that I can have somebody join it is if we are not friends already on Facebook. I need to have your email address. I'm not using that email address to add it to any kind of list or anything like that. But if you email me at ed at experiential ed, and I'm putting that in the comments right now, ed at experiential.com. No E at the beginning of experiential. X marks the spot. Some teenager in Taiwan took the other experiential ed before I had a chance to buy the domain name. Anyways, if you shoot me an email with the same email address you use for Facebook, I can go ahead and do an invite that way. If you want to be friends on Facebook, just look for me at Experiential Ed on Facebook with no E at the beginning. Send me a friend request, send me a note saying I want to join the Facebook group, and I have no problem if you unfriend me directly after that. I won't take it too personally.
Too personally.
Facebook's got a good thing going. I hate losing friends.
Are you gonna notice? Because quite honestly, most of the time I don't notice.
No, I don't go in there and compare my numbers from last week. I had 358 friends last week, and now I'm down to 357.
Who bailed out? Who dumped me?
Now I do have an analytic that does that on Twitter. It sends me daily analytics on Twitter. Mm-hmm. It used to be called Social Bro, which I thought was a really cool name. Just changed it to audience with an S instead of a C, like Audisense or something like that. But it tells me like if I've lost any followers, and I can go and see who they are. But most of the time,
so you can stalk them and say, "No,
come back to me. What did I do?" 90% of the time, the people that stop following me are spammy social media people. That see that I do social media stuff, follow me for a day or two, and when I don't interact with them and go, thanks for the follow or anything else, they just drop me because they don't want their Twitter feed having all this experiential crap in there. And plants. I do a lot of plants. New app got to tell you about. So with that in mind, I am going to stop the recording. We are now starting to ramble. We've been doing this an hour.
You had no coffee this whole time.
Me? Look, I've had to refill from this morning's cup.
I know, but it was just like a little, like we haven't done it.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is I haven't been encouraging the 30-second thing because I don't think it never works for me.
I tried it again. I'll see if it works later. But like I have this giant mug this time. It's like I think it's like 1 2/3 mug size. I like that you have a stormtrooper head.
Yeah. The iridescent kind of comes through in the light. This was a Christmas gift from ESI in the white elephant gift exchange.
It is a great Christmas gift.
I love this. And it also got a little water. Okay. So see everybody next week. You don't need to hear about this week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Here, Blab.im, Experiential Ed, and no Batman Cup. All right, same Star Wars time. All right,
we'll see you guys next week,
and we're gonna blab a little bit more just on our own here.
Yes, please.